Montana's news leader, this is the MTN Noon News.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us on the Noon News on this Friday. I'm Andrea Lutz. There's a growing concern over a rapid spike in COVID-19 cases in one northwest Montana county. That story is coming up, but first. This afternoon, there's new evidence related to the 22-year-old missing woman whose fiance returned from a cross-country trip without her. Here's today's leading look. Newly released video shows what looks like the aftermath of an argument between Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie. The body cam video comes from Utah police officers who questioned the couple. Laundrie's refusing to speak to police while Petito's parents are demanding answers from his family. A 28-year-old Kalispell man is dead, leaving the Flathead community shocked after a shooting in the parking lot of the Kalispell Fuel Fitness Center. It's an incident that sent the suspect and bystander to the hospital. Police were called to the scene at around 11 a.m. They found 3 people with gunshot wounds, including an employee at the business who had died. International Rescue Committee in Missoula is helping resettle Afghan evacuees as they arrive in our state. That includes job search and enrolling children in school and housing. Well, the agency is urging Missoula community members to help welcome the refugees. 2 of the country's medical powers are combining their resources. SEL Health operators of St. Vincent Healthcare in Billings, they're merging with Intermountain Healthcare. The move creates a huge system which will employ more than 58,000 caregivers and operate over 400 hospitals and clinics in 6 states. That's today's leading look.
Little taste of fall out there. Let me step out of the way. This photo came in from Kathy Stedman up near Whitehall. A very chilly morning. I actually had a couple of photos coming in from folks with frost on their windshields. So fall just around the corner. Remember, it officially kicks off on Wednesday, but summertime's not done yet. Tomorrow we could see record heat in some spots. It's going to be a very dry and windy day. In fact, we do have a red flag warning in effect today through tomorrow in Great Falls, Helena, Butte, Glasgow. Also tomorrow for areas like eastern Montana, central Montana, northern Wyoming, we could see gusts up to about 60 miles an hour. So be very, very cautious if you're going to be doing anything, not to shoot off any sparks. Complete look at your forecast. It's coming up.
I'm Dennis Bragg in Sanders County, where there's renewed concern about an alarming increase in the amount of COVID-19 cases and new calls for precautions.
Health Officer Dr. Nick Lawyer says the number of cases at Clark Fork Valley Hospital is triple the 7-day average of patients during the pandemic last winter, and the daily reports of positive cases has also eclipsed the numbers from December. That's forced local schools to go remote in the past week as staff and students either have the virus or close contacts. He doesn't see any single reason for the spike. I asked him whether the explosion of cases in North Idaho could be partly to blame.
That's a great question. I don't think we've seen clear data to suggest that Idaho's increased case volume is overflowing into our area.
Still, Lawyer says the Idaho situation is heartbreaking, and he's worried it might indicate where Montana is headed if more people don't take what he calls personal responsibility: vaccinations, masks, social distancing, and limiting exposure. He says nobody can dictate those choices.
Dr. Lawyer recognizes that Montanans like to be independent, but he says this is a time to do your risk assessment and keep your neighbors safe.
People are ruggedly independent, and they definitely don't like people telling them what to do. I think my hope is that people can see what's happening in North Idaho, and we have the advantage of seeing that. If we make a few simple interventions, we can really, hopefully, slow things down and not have the same suffering that they've had.
Lawyer says none of the precautions like vaccines are perfect, but powerful when used together.
It, like a layer of Swiss cheese, works really well, but has a few holes in it. Masking's the same way. Masking's not perfect. So each individual layer is imperfect, but when you add the layers on top of each other, the holes will be covered up.
Since he's been on the pandemic front lines for 18 months now, I asked Lawyer whether he's afraid for this fall and winter.
You know, Dennis, I was born here. I was actually born in this hospital. This is my community, and I appreciate people are frustrated with the continued presence of this virus in our lives. It's just a matter of taking personal responsibility to make those choices.
In Plains, Dennis Bragg, MTN News.